Today we take a look at arguably the most famous American Flyer engine that has ever graced the rails of my layout. This engine has a storied history. It has been featured in photographs and in articles and is probably, without a doubt, the most famous American Flyer engine I've ever seen in my life. And that's not the only surprise about this engine, as we'll get to in the video today on Austin's American Flyer. Hope you enjoy. Here is a 322, and you may be thinking, boy, sure seems like I've seen quite a few of those on your videos, and you're correct. Hudsons are arguably the best looking, best proportioned American Flyer steam engine ever made, and this one is really special. In fact, I'm not exactly how special it is because I need to open it up to find that out. But this particular engine came to me via Brooks. And Brooks got this when he was younger, and it traveled with him across the country, many different places. And as he progressed through his journey with American Flyer, he started with the post-war American Flyer and then modified his American Flyer and then ended up switching to fine scale, S scale. So this engine made part of that transition. So typically, as you know, I like to get them on the rolling road and fire them up and see what we've got. But this one has been modified. Brooks doesn't remember for sure what all he's done, but originally this is an SIT. So we have the fill here, there's a tube coming out of the boiler. But for those of you who are very observant will remember that the SITs had a reverse unit here. No lever. So what Brooks thought he did was he converted this to a can motor, which there's our can motor, and there is a reverse unit inside here, probably a dolly type, which is super cool. He thought that he disconnected the SIT because can motor would run, much more quickly, at much lower voltage than the SIT would, so it just didn't work together. And I'm kind of hoping that's the case, because I've been thinking about some possibilities for ways to maybe slow the starting voltage of this motor down so that the SIT can catch up. Who knows? Right now they're just in my head on the drawing board, so to speak. So I invite you to join me today as we take a look at what's inside this 322. The other thing I'll mention before I dive in here is it's been repainted. Brooks is a master modeler. His abilities with design and modeling and painting are unbelievable. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so Brooks had told me he was it's been long enough since he did this modification, he couldn't for sure recall. He thought that he left everything in, and I'm so glad he did. And I stuck leads to this, and check this out. And it still smokes. Oh my goodness, isn't that amazing? I don't know, Brooks could probably fill this detail in, but I'm guessing it's been something like 40 years probably, at least, since this SIT ran. I could be mistaken, but I'm just tickled. The bellows are in great shape. I don't see any cracks. I don't see any leaks. The motor runs very well. It's a tiny bit on the slower side, but I mean, it still runs well. And to me, this looks like it was one of the earlier ones. because of the brush plate holder on the back. Um, I love this. I mean, this tells me this is somebody that was new to flyer repairs that did this. Um, the way the soldering's done here, and then you can see here there's still two wires that leave. Now, looks to me like that's where the problems probably began at some point. A pin was, oh, I guess the pin's there. Okay, but then this became the method for trying to keep the power to the engine. So a small repair there, but the link's been replaced by a knuckle. So anyhow, continue to remove the shell now next from the engine, and we'll see what's inside there. So before I get any further with the teardown, I wanted to just share something here that I thought was super neat. Again, I don't know what age Brooks would have been when he started this project, but look what he's got here. He's actually added levers like a real uncoupler lever. The rail guys would flip these up, and that would unlock the knuckle coupler on steam engines or box cars or whatever. That's legit. I just think this is so cool, and he's very carefully cut away the original, or remove the original coupler, and then on the inside he's got a screw there that was tapped and added for his fake coupler. And if he was using real Katy couplers, you can see it's got this little hook in it. So I don't know, would it work with regular flyer knuckle couplers? Let's see here. Trying to do this while I'm holding the camera. Look at that. That actually works. Oh, that's cool. That is super cool. Oh, I love this. This is awesome. So this engine could be double-headed. Yeah, I know it doesn't look like a traditional knuckle coupler, but it's functional, and it's been customized by somebody, and it's neat. Definitely going to keep that. That's so cool. So here we are. This is what's left inside the shell. The smoke tube is still there. I thought maybe there'd be a dolly reversing unit in the shell, which might have been silly, but there's no reverse unit. So that meant I'm using an old DC power pack to run this thing, because I don't know if this is AC. I think I'm going to try AC next and see what happens. So bear with me while I make that change. Yeah, this is not an AC motor. It buzzes, can't figure out which direction it wants to go. It is a DC motor, which is why I hooked it up to DC power like I did. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna hook it back up again. Okay, so we're back on DC power again. It's fascinating to me to see how Brooks made this transition. I don't know if this was a kit or that he bought, or if he just kind of figured this out on his own. I'm guessing he kind of did it himself, just based on the rubber bands kind of helping to hold the motor. The one thing that is proving to be challenging is there's a lot of play in this rear driver, and it actually keeps binding up the motor. It's so, like right now it's bound up, so I'm gonna get it unbound and then get it running again here. So as you can see, we've got something that binds up. I don't know if the main drive gear is maybe a little out of round. As I mentioned, there's a lot of slop in the drive axle itself, and that might be leading to misalignment of the worm gear and the drive axle. I don't know which it is, but there's a pretty significant issue here, and unfortunately, When I turn this engine right side up and put it on the rolling roadbed, it frequently stops, and then I have to turn it upside down and kind of force the gear past whatever the binding spot is before it'll start running again. So that's kind of a big deal. So I thought I'd bring you back with me. When I put my fingernail here on the side and kind of push the driver over a little bit, the play is gone, and I'm starting to think that it's the lateral play, that it's causing the meshing issue, because as soon as I push it over to one side, that goes away and we've got smooth running. So I'm going to, off camera, I'm going to go ahead and draw these drivers to each other just a little bit and take some of this play out, and then I'll bring you back. Well, that seems to have helped. I'm still able to get this thing to lock up, though. Let's try it the other direction now. Back it forward. Oh, come on. Okay, got itself out of that one. That's what it'll do. It'll just suddenly stop where it binds up. So, I'm afraid that the rubber bands are just allowing enough. They're dead. See that? Now it's humming, and yeah, the motor is just at a little bit of a wrong angle. So I think what I need to do, before I burn it up, I think what I need to do is investigate a bracket that I could make for this thing. Maybe I could 3D print one. I don't know if it would be, heavy duty enough to keep this thing from twisting. So here is a motor mount that I designed in Tinkercad, and we shall see how it works with the Hudson motor. As you can see, there's a place for the motor to rest. There's a plate that hopefully will space the motor appropriately at the back of the chassis. I've also added holes for the screws and the stud spaces on the back of the chassis, and then of course there's a hole in the middle for the shaft of the motor. What remains to be seen, though, is how well things lined up. Tinkercad is great because it is a easy program to use. It's intuitive, and it's small. So my computer here is old, and it does not have the ability to handle very much computing power, graphically speaking. So when I've tried to use higher powered CAD systems, they make it crash, or they don't even work. And so the downside of using something like Tinkercad is the hole placement is a best guess. So we shall see once I've spent the next hour and a half printing this out, if the holes are anywhere close. Well, I know they'll be close, but anyhow, I guess it is what it is, and I'll bring you back when I've got the piece in hand.